Hey everyone, I hope you guys are having a great day. Welcome back to another Web Dev Junkie video. This one, I want to show you how to enable or disable a button dynamically based on when the user types into an input box. Okay, now this is really, I don't want to say easy to understand, but it's a basic building block of web development. You'll see this a lot on pages. I don't know if this is the best UX to do. Usually I have the button always enabled and it'll show like a red alert if you're not supposed to submit it yet. But this is one approach that you can kind of prevent users from doing actions until they typed in the required information. And like always, be sure to like and comment and also subscribe if you're new to the channel because it helps my channel grow and I would really appreciate that. So before I get started with this tutorial, I just wanted to say I do have an index file already created for us to save some time, and that is including a script called script.js, which is where we can write any type of JavaScript code. And then we also include a style sheet called style.css. So again, in this video, we are trying to show you how to disable a button dynamically based on if someone typed into an input box. So it would probably be good to start with a form. So I can go ahead and type out a form here, and I could just put like an input box and I don't know, give it like a placeholder of username or something. All right. And then also we probably want some type of submit button. So I'll say type of button is submit, and I'll put some text in it called submit. So we could spend some time styling this stuff. Maybe I'll save that for later. But the whole goal of what one of the subscribers asked me is, how do I dynamically disable this button until someone has typed into the input box, right? So what we want to do is we probably want to add a couple of IDs or classes to these input boxes and buttons so we can target them. So I'm going to say ID is username. I'll put down the input, and then on the button, I will add an ID called submit. Okay, and that's going to allow us to easily grab that from the DOM in our JavaScript. So let's move over to our JavaScript. And what we could basically do is start writing some code to either disable or enable the button. So the first thing we want to do is you probably want to grab the DOM elements and save them to a variable so we have access to them. So I'm going to grab the button first. So I'll say const submit button is equal to document.getElement by ID. And I can go ahead and pass in, I think I'll call it submit. And then for the second thing, I could just get the input box. So const input is equal to document.getElement by ID. And I think I call that username actually. So what we want to do is basically when the web page first loads, we want to disable that button by default. And you could probably just go to the HTML and add a disabled property to it or attribute to it. And that'll make it so you cannot actually click on the submit button. I'm also going to add autocomplete off to this input box because I don't want it dropping down and showing you the emails that I use for my other logins. But so what we want to do is when the user types into this box, when it changes in value, we want to go ahead and enable the button. And if the user were to clear it out, we want to disable the button. So what I could do is add an event listener to the input and say input.addEventListener. And you could say change. And when the input changes, you could simply disable the button or not. So let's just go ahead and print out what E is here. Like say e.target.value, I believe. I think it's actually current target.value. Let's see if this works. All right, so as you type and then you click off, notice that it's going to print that out. So that's one way, but I think we want to enable the button the moment they type. So we could say, I think key press or key, oh, sorry, let's say key press and see if that works. So what we need to do is whenever a user types into the input box, we just need to check, is the value, which I can grab from here, is the value empty? So if value is equal to an empty string, then I could simply say submit button dot disabled is equal to false. And then else I could say disabled, or I'll select disabled true here. And then otherwise we probably want to enable it. Like I say, disabled false. So maybe key up would be better. Yeah, I think key up would be a better check instead of key press. So whenever they type and they let go of the key, that's when we check if there's value inside the input box or not. And that is how you could do it. Now you could have this set up to basically check all the input boxes in your form. So let's say you had a username, password, and additional fields that you could just add a check on all of them if you wanted to and just do something like this. Now I'd probably like to actually clean this code up a little bit. I want to basically say always make it this disabled false, and then I will just change it back to true if this is equal, just to kind of keep the nesting out and the branching kind of shorter. So this is the same logic, and that is basically how you can do it. At this point, I realize that there's a bunch of different key events that you can kind of listen to. I don't have them all memorized, but it's probably good to like have them memorized. You have like key up, key down, key pressed, you have like change, and just know the different scenarios of when you may want to use key up versus a key press or key down or something like that. All right, so that basically wraps up this tutorial video. If you found this tutorial video helpful, Be sure to give me a thumbs up, leave a comment below if there's a different type of widget or functionality you want to see done with vanilla JavaScript and CSS. And then also be sure to subscribe if you're new to this channel if you want to see more videos like this in the future. And also give me a thumbs up because it helps my channel grow. All right, thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.